Hello, Alexa Allen here, day 37 maybe of my busking adventure, and yesterday I was talking about how I was feeling intrigued and interested in the history of busking, so I did a bit of reading yesterday, not all over the place, just in a couple of places, and learned a few things and have started writing a blog about it, but I thought I'd share just some of the interesting things that I found out yesterday about busking. So for starters, it's been going on since the beginning of time, and since we've been able to make sound probably and entertainment, and it's always been a form of sharing one's gifts with an exchange for willing gratuities, and the gratuities have often been money or food or meals or gifts, and the verb to busk originates from a Spanish word. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. B-U-S-C-A-R, buscar, which means to seek, and that word isn't even used in Spanish anymore to talk about buskers. It's used only to refer to female sex workers, street sex workers. I find that really interesting, that these two ways of living stem from that word. It really makes me wonder about a few things. Is there an element of shame connected to busking, connected to prostitution? I don't know. It's fascinating. But that word, the Spanish word, originates from a Indo-European word which I can't pronounce at all, which means the Spanish buscar means to seek, and the Indo-European word butsok, something like that, means to win. So I'm translating it as an artist, someone with a gift to share, going out and seeking the places where to share that and winning the appreciation and attention of the people that are enjoying it. That's how I do it anyway. Also, I discovered, and I hadn't really thought about this, that we're living in a recording age now, so music can be recorded on pretty much anything now, and we can take it with us anywhere. But 100 years ago and prior to that, we couldn't. We would only hear music if it was being played live. So buskers on the streets then, it must have been amazing, because that's the only place where you would have heard music unless you were playing music, or you were involved in music, or you were going in bars or something, or you had people in your families playing music, but I bet a lot of people didn't. So that's interesting. Also in the 1960s, group busking happenings started to occur, especially around the San Francisco area, and they were called be-ins. That was where performers, single artists, bands would all come together to the same spot, and then they would just perform one by one and then pass the hat to get donations and gratuities off the people that were enjoying the entertainment. And a lot of people started their careers this way, including Jimi Hendrix, Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, and many others. Interesting, isn't it? And nowadays, since the year 2000, the most modern form of busking is called cyber busking, and that's where people are recording their performances and sharing it online in video or sound and through social media with a donate button, so that people, if they want to donate, if they want to support, they can. But there's no obligation. There's never been any obligation. Another interesting fact, the first law that ever affected buskers came in 462 BC in ancient Rome, and it was called the Law of 12 Tables, And it was a law that was brought in that meant nobody is allowed to sing a song or a parody about the government or any of its officials, and if they did, the penalty was death. Look at it now. Lots of people are doing that now, aren't they? Tempted. Also, some other ideas about what's happening to the environment where buskers are. There's an author in the States who did a sociological study on the environments that buskers are in, and discovered the crime rates would drop in areas that were regularly visited by buskers. Now, I find that really interesting. Oops. Video cut out. Yeah, the influence that's made on the area, how this happens through the busker is like an instrument of creating atmosphere. So it will take an atmosphere that's got no kind of creative buzz happening, and then they will form that through what they're doing, and this interweaves people together. It builds connections between all the people that are present, and they become aware of their environment in a different way. They feel, see and perceive and experience it in a completely different way. This is called triangulation. So an environment, the performer and the receivers, it's affecting the whole thing. And I find it interesting that in that study she discovered that it even affects the crime rates, which makes total sense to me. So another really interesting fact, last fact, Benjamin Franklin was a busker. He would go out onto the streets with his composed songs, singing and reading poetry and prose, and he would sell printed versions of his poetry and songs and prose to people. And his father talked him out of it because of the stigma attached to busking. And this is apparently what started to form Benjamin Franklin's initial beliefs and ideas around free speech. And the reason I kind of got inspired to look at all of this is because of the people who seem to have a perception that it's all about money, which it is not about money. And obviously you might receive some money from doing what you do, but you have to be completely detached from that and do it for art's sake. And I find it interesting that Benjamin Franklin was doing that and his face ended up on the dollar bill. There's just something lovely about that, but I'm not quite sure how to articulate it yet. I'll put it in my blog. I love this song. You are the light of the world, beloved child. Go out, spread light to the world. Go out and spread light to the world. See? That's what buskers do. Perfect timing. Have a good day.